I know it's not your specialty, but we keep hearing in the news about care homes. And, I know that the recent Public Health England numbers said still 43% of COVID transmissions is happening in care homes. And I think all of us, it's just almost flabbergasting, but I don't think most people have ever been to a care home and we even know what that is like.
No.
Maybe there's things you can tell us about what it's like to be in one of those homes, or, any information that might help so we can try to understand what that's like mentally, and then what could be solutions to that.
Well, nobody needs to know what the inside of a care home looks like until they need to go there, either to live there or to visit there, or obviously to work there. There's still a lot to learn about the disaster of care homes, and I should add, it's not just this country. Sweden, that's had a very much more liberal policy over lockdown, had a terrible disaster over care home deaths that they've got an inquiry into at the moment, I understand. And we've all got things to learn. And I suppose care homes weren't designed for this kind of pandemic that affects older people, and care homes, to generalize, have the very elderly in them. They are designed to keep people together for reasons we've just been talking about. People come in and out of them. I read an interesting thing that the smaller care homes have had less infections simply because I assume there have been less people coming and going from outside. And some care homes, the staff decided to stay there, to live there, to camp out in their own place of work, so they weren't always coming and going and potentially picking up infections from outside. That is a huge sacrifice to make, often from care home staff who are not very well paid, often from abroad, immigrants working in the UK who've moved from somewhere else. And they've made those kind of sacrifices, and I think that's extraordinary. But we've got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
We've got an awful lot to learn and think about. And it's not just about how care homes are arranged physically and organisationally, but how we look after our older people too, much more generally.
Yeah, no, very much so. I mean, you mentioned there was some real problems, in these care homes. And I think Amnesty International, recently said that, some of the care home policies, violated the fundamental human rights of vulnerable elderly residents. And they said some of the treatments were inhumane, degrading, inexplicable. And I think we're all a bit frustrated. And I would love it if the government could think about, channeling more resources, to this area of our economy. It's just not being talked about enough.
No. Thank you. That's absolutely right. There have always been issues in care homes. It's sort of reached some sort of public consciousness about poor care and abusive care. But this has thrown it much more into focus. And where suddenly the main abuser is a virus, not a human being, but nonetheless it's thrown care into focus. And we've been promised for some years now a whole review of our social care system. And I'm talking about providing care in people's own homes as well. So it all is part of something much larger. And we've yet to see something. I understand that governments are reluctant because of the potential cost and the consequences, but we are an advanced, civilized Western society. What are we doing ignoring our older people? And I go back to what I said earlier on. The problem with older people being stuck at home for so long is it's terribly easy to forget about them. They lose their voice, and we need to allow those voices to be heard again and taken note of.